Welcome to your Dose of Truth Tarot for this week is the 27th of September to the 3rd of October. So we're well into autumn, and I'm already shuffling the cards. Today, Bird decided he wants to sit with us. The other days, he gets a bit annoyed that I'm doing things without him. Definitely likes to be spoiled, so he'll just desert me and abandon me. But today he's sitting actually quite heavily on my shoulder and very content. You could probably hear his beak. He's grinding his beak. So he's having a good time. Let's see if he starts to come around and play with us. So here, the equinox passed, and one of the things I started noticing is a little bit more energy coming in, which was really nice, and some creativity. So I hope that's happening for you as well. That often happens in September, October, and then November we start to wind down a little bit, but we feel as though we've got all this energy we still want to use. This is just my observation. So today I thought we'd take a look at the typical things I like to look at. If you would please, leave a comment of, if you'd like me to change the questions around or look at something different, just let me know. All right, so let's see what we're feeling into. It's the first rainy day in my area. It's been really nice this summer. We've had that surge of Indian summer, as we call it. And wow, it's been gorgeous. So today is the first kind of rainy, cooler day. I could tell you I would love to be up north, sitting by the fire, reading a book. But here we are in the city. So let's see what's up for us city folk. Okay, so these are people around the world who end up living in cities. Why do I focus on that? Well, usually, that without nature surrounding us consistently and working in the city or even the extended city, because the city goes out quite far, of course. I'm talking about real country life, maybe small town of with few people and people more in touch and in tune with nature. I often say that's what we need to do is get in touch with that, so we can be in touch with nature, so we can be in touch with our intuition. So it's finding time during the week to do that. Now, for some of us, winter is coming. It starts to, it's not coming for 3 months yet, but it can be more difficult for those of us who have aged, right? For you youngins, it's just, okay, what am I going to do? What outfits am I going to change into? Whereas some of us older folk kind of look at, okay, so will I be steady this year on the snow? So I'm already feeling into, maybe we just need to look at where we are at as humans when we're in, I'm going to put a corollary here, when we're not in the natural flow. I would say I'm not totally in the natural flow either. I tune into it. I try to get out, out by the canal and near trees as much as possible. But so much of the day is involved with, being in the city, being crowded with people, having a lot of energies. And also some of you might be like me where, those energies are highly influential on everything that goes on in your body mind. If you're HSP, you might find that you're overwhelmed consistently by colors, sights, sounds, smells, the sensory information. HSP means, the sensory information that comes in overwhelms the brain and the body, the nervous system, a little bit more than, let's say, other people. And, you have to do different things to take care of it. I'm definitely that way. If I see a lot of people, my system gets completely overwhelmed and I need to take care of it. But it's also, as you notice, fall came in, and look at how many colors I've got. I put more color. So in the summer, I really needed, plain background. I white sort of have, mostly my room is white. You can't really see many things. Yeah, most of it's white. Um, I try to keep everything very plain and neat. Even the screen just had the water, me, and this tableau I have here. But today I was like, oh, I need a little bit more color. So I added something to the table behind me and that kind of thing. So you might feel that coming on as well, just kind of tuning into different energies. The colors are going to go away. We're going to end up having white and gray, and we get a lot of sun here outside, but maybe it's just time to put some color around you. Not to overwhelm you, but enough color. All right, so I think I've shuffled enough and I've put enough sort of intention in with all those things I was saying. And just ask, where are we at? So our first card, I'm doing the Yin Yang Oracle again. Thoughts and isolating. So now, well, that's interesting. I didn't expect something like that to come up. Well, that's for the week to come. So I definitely wasn't tuning into that energy as though there was um, that kind of energy, but of the thoughts, overwhelming us, or feeling isolated or feeling alone. So let's look at this in two different ways. So one is, because we have autumn and it is harvest time. In the southern hemisphere, it's spring. Sorry, I talked a lot about only the northern hemisphere. In spring, everything's budding, the colors are coming in. So you might not completely relate to the backdrop that I put today, but I just felt like it. And it'll bring you that colorful energy in the southern hemisphere too, which you're having. You're going to have all your blossoms and buds. So here are two seasons happening in the north and southern hemisphere, where one is everything's birthing and coming to the forefront, and you start to feel, we call it spring fever, down in the southern hemisphere, where your hormones wake up, your bones start uncreaking, the flowers start peeking through the earth, and here our leaves are already falling. A little bit of rain is coming in, the cooler temperatures coming in, and but we're in harvest time, which means so much to pick from trees, but also from our body mind when we start to experience that creativity. So with that said, what is this card telling us? Well, let's look out for this week, that even though there is harvest and springtime going on the planet, we can still have the excess of thoughts that can isolate us. That's one way to look at it, is we can be isolated by our own thinking. So it's something to beware of. Make sure that you're not actually listening to your thoughts, or get yourself to someone who works with meditation or different techniques that help you understand you're not your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. But here we're in these two seasons, and I think the cards are really telling us that we can have that experience of isolation. Then there can be people who are feeling isolated, and they think they're isolated as well, and they really have no recourse. So you could reach out. Again, that would be another thing to do, is reach out. So let's see what the next card has to say. The next one is showing us transcendence and unity. So this is more what I felt like was coming from this week, is that we would we would experience that capacity to transcend our limitations and feel the unification. So one of the things that, is, it serves as a source of consternation for me are the wars on the planet, and the division that some people have. They feel divided. They feel that um, maybe that um, well, let's talk about projection a little bit. And maybe that's what we need to transcend, because that's what's popping up in my intuitive, uh, my intuition. So yeah, my gut's really moving right now, so I know this is where to go. So um, you could, there are a lot of people we can have a discussion and we can explore. If you watch people online who have discussions and they're exploring different things, and they can disagree with the other person and show how they're disagreeing, and how lovely that is, because they're learning from each other. We can learn how our thoughts, because even with myself doing this work all by myself right here, it's a little bit hard because there's nobody questioning me or asking me, oh, please explain that again, or I don't understand it. So it is rather difficult to talk to a screen, but talk to the world without actually having the world send some energy back. So, by the way, I thank all of you out there who do leave some comments, and some people write to me privately and tell me that what they enjoyed, and I thank you very much for that. It's very, very helpful. Um, so if we look at those kinds of discussions, you can find them online. Then there's some people who debate, which is fine. They're bringing up different points and they have a debate. That's great too. But then there's this very strong, it's hard for young people. It's hard for, um, yeah, I'd say mostly young people who haven't had enough experience in the world. Um, that they're going to kind of attack each other, like someone has a viewpoint and then it's attacked, and then the other person gets agitated by that, and then there's an attack back and forth, that kind of thing. I think it's time that we're able to transcend that. Now, how are we going to do it? Well, through prayer, through love, through peace, through harmony, and all kinds of different things that we can do for ourselves. That's something I'm not going to cover on this video, but you can see I talked about peace and love and harmony, and Bert just came in for his love. Look at that. Look at this guy. So these are things we can work to do, is to transcend the difficulties that we have, just by having some compassion for each other. And look at how you just reached out. You just crawled up my arm, came down onto my hand, and then nudged me so that I would take care of him. Maybe we just need a nudge sometimes to begin our journey to transcendence. So, when I think of those things, when I think of people taking sides, um, without really thinking things through and becoming afraid, we become part of the problem. And here this says transcend. We're all, I don't care where we live, what we do, what our beliefs are. Ultimately, every single human being is the same. We have belief systems. Usually we want to prove those belief systems, we want to prove who we are, and that begins our conflicted battle. When I was a kid, I would often look at, go, why are we're all the same. Why are we battling? And yeah, I found different ways to deal with it, and they didn't always pan out, because that conflict is deep within us, and there are ways to deal with it. So you can always find those different ways anywhere in the world. Different people have different preferences. All right, so the next one, let's see what comes up. And this is alchemy. Okay, look at that. So here we are. We have these isolating thoughts. I think I actually just mentioned that through transcendence that we can have these thoughts that we think are separate, right? One of my sort of keywords is someone who says, "Oh, you don't understand. They don't understand. We don't understand." Um, that's rather difficult to deal with sometimes because it can be very isolating. Those kinds of phrases, as though you're the only one who has that understanding. The first thing is, obviously to uh, make the statement of, well, if you feel like you're not understood or you feel like you're isolated because your thinking is different than someone else's, or uh, you feel like your thoughts are your only thoughts, it's time to maybe transcend that thinking and find, if you follow this, thoughts that isolate you, thoughts that isolate you, transcend that thinking. And remember, it's a specific corollary. There can always be a time someone doesn't understand what you're saying, and you may not have to explain it. But when your thoughts are isolating and you need to transcend and understand on some level, everyone experiences the same thing. And look at what happens to us. Alchemy occurs, right? So that alchemy can bring in, sure, this has ancestors and guides. It can be the cards. It can be just your eighth chakra experience, where that eighth chakra brings that information down. Your intuition can bring information that is helping you to shift your predicament. All right, so there you go. Hope you enjoyed that and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Hope you get cuddles like Bird has here. He loves his little cuddles. He's trying to get in closer and he wants me to do it in a specific way as I look at him. All right, everyone. Love you all. Have a great week. And yeah, let me know what you'd like me to ask next time if there's something different. Or just give me um, a share, a like. That really helps me out. Thank you. Bye.